So if you look at this definition, you would realize that uh, there has to be an employer and an employee, the services, and a paycheck for employment conditions to be met. So obviously, you would have to make a decision in that employment as to, are you going to be an employer? Are you going to be an employee? If you're an employee, what services are you going to provide? If you're an employer, what is the paycheck that you're going to pay? That decision has to be made in order for you to decide on employment as to where are you in that definition. With that definition in mind, then you would need to come up with your own definition of employment so that you can start to endeavor in the employment, either as an employee or employee. Now, the questions which you'd need to ask first would be uh, if you are looking for employment to be employed, then the question would be, do I have what it takes or needed to be employed? You know, do you have what the employer needs? Secondly, do I understand what is needed by that employer? If you are going to approach any employer, do you know what that employer is looking for? And then thirdly, do I have a definite plan for my employment? So if you're going to look for employment, you would need to know where you start, and then where are you going to look for that employment, and what services are you going to offer. So you need to have a definite plan for employment, and then it's something that you need to work on daily. You can't be looking for employment once in a while and then expect to win in employment, however way you define it. So define employment for yourself so that you can actually win in that endeavor. Now, having defined employment, being very clear in your mind as to what is employment for you, now we get into the part where now you actually have to engage employment. Now you actually have to start working on it, and then for you to do that, it's very important to understand the relationship now that you want to create, with your employer or with your employees. Now these are the two most important questions that you would need to get over so that you can now start your engagement. Number one, why would anyone want to employ you? Why would anyone want to employ you? Now, the question basically it's saying, do you have the right service if you are going to be an employee? Do you have the right service to give to an employer if you're going to be an employer? Do you have what it takes to be an employer? You need to ask yourself that question, and you need to engage yourself then to have an answer. If you don't have the service, then personal development and training so that you can have the service, so that you can be the employee or the employer. Number two, why do I want to employ? Why do you want to do it from the first place? Because if you don't have a good reason enough, chances are you're not going to win on it, or you're not even going to start to engage on the things that you need to do so that you can be part of that relationship. So you need to be very clear as to why would anyone wants to employ you. Number two, have a very good reason why you want to do it so that you can have that drive to get on and do it. Now, once you are ready with your execution, you are ready now to get on it and engage in employment. Uh, these are the things that you would need to consider. For people who have already gone through it and maybe they are already struggling or why they struggle, you need to be very clear on these issues. Number one, understand the world around you, the fairness of life, and the history. Understanding the world is that you need to understand what is happening around you. You need to be very clear as to, I mean, this employment, it's not a new thing. Just because you are starting to engage on it yourself now, it doesn't mean it's a new thing. People have gone through it, people are doing it, people have won on it. So it's not a new thing. So you need to investigate as to the people who have won on it. Why did they win? How did they, or how are they getting it right? You cannot struggle with something which people are already winning on it. So meaning the system, the processes are already there. You just need to learn them. Just don't engage on it as if it's a mystery or it's something. For instance, if you want to be a doctor, there are doctors out there who are already practicing. So meaning if you go and find out how they did it, chances are you will win on it. It's not something that you can try to figure out. It's there already. If you want to be in business, there are people who are already in business. So uh, the world is very fair in a sense that the answers are there, and you must just know what is it that you need to do. And if you look at the history, it's just an issue of it's been done before. It's not a new thing. So get a mentor, ask questions, find out how people who are already doing it, how they're doing it, and just comply. Then chances are you'll get it right. Secondly, is personal understanding and investment. Your own personal investment. You may need to do an investment, so don't despise small beginnings. You may need to start from scratch, and in starting from scratch, it's okay. You need to start, because remember also that the seed holds the potential for what it's going to grow to. So meaning you need to start so that you can get to maybe achieving your goal or getting to that finish line. So don't despise small beginnings. Start, and with the understanding that uh, you know for you to get to 50, you start at one. You don't just start in the middle 25. You start from counting number one, two, three, up until you get to the number that is required. So get on it, start, and then you will get where you need to get to. And you may also need to look into the education system that you from or you currently are in. That there's a lot of philosophies out there, the education systems that we find ourselves in. Maybe you come from an education system that said you just need a qualification, then employment is a done deal. So you may need to add to that education system that you've got, that maybe it's not enough. You need a little bit more. Just a certificate won't cut it. You need a little bit more. You need also skills with that certification. You need experience with that certification. So you would need to do a little bit more so that you can win in employment. And the other thing would be maybe your education system did not tell you that the attitude, the values, and skills are employment are very important in this employment thing. So you may need to change your attitude towards looking for employment. Maybe just realizing that you are not entitled to employment just because you have a certificate. You actually have to you know do a bit more. Your values, you just cannot go there with the values that are not in line with the employer. So if the employer is looking for a certain attitude, values, you may need to adapt. Also with your certificate, you would need to have skills. These are the things that you would need to look into so that you don't find yourself struggling with employment. And then maybe if having gone through this video, you just see problems. Is the things that we spoke about are just problems. Let's now get to solutions. Solutions, it's easy. Maybe you may find that the education system that you had, maybe it's not solving your problem towards winning at employment. Then you need to fix your philosophy. And then also you need to do some personal development in terms of your values, in terms of your attitude, in terms of your skills. You need to attend to that. How do you do that? Ask people who have won in employment. If you are an employee, you're looking for an employer, ask employers, what is it that you guys look for? Uh, Attend seminars on employers, attend conferences on employers, get mentors, read books. These are the things that will solve your issue in terms of your education system or the philosophy in terms of personal development. You'll be able to grow and learn as to how to win in with employment.